Last video, I got the body sanded down to 220. On this guitar, the type of finish I'm gonna put on it may vary. I may spray it, but due to the weather, it's really postponing a lot of the projects. So I might even do a true oil finish on this one, which still somewhat kind of really puts out a really high gloss shine on it. But it's going to be a natural finish. This is not gonna be a glass finish. Also, so after you get that sanded to 220, I know I'm going to rub it on something, it's gonna scratch, and I'm gonna have to sand it again. But prior to that, there needs to be things done, and you kind of want to do these steps first, which is drill all your routing channels, meaning input jack, your pickup wires, and your ground for your brake system. So what I got is a 1/2" bit, a 3/8 bit, and a 1/8 bit. I also have a little punch that I measured the side and all the other dots, and what I do is I punch it. So let's get to it. So on the inside of the body, you're gonna notice on this side, I punched a hole already. And that kind of just gets my bit in there from sliding around because it's at a weird angle, and a lot of these are at weird angles. On the side jack, I mounted it, and it lines up on my flat part on the inside of the cavity cover. And I get my little punch, and I put it on my mark, and I'm just then hit it in there. So the tip of the bit, see that tip? That's gonna go find the hole that I just punched, and it's gonna stop it from moving around. You know, kind of simple. And then the other one for my neck pickup and my bridge pickups, I usually come through from the top of the neck into the other cavities, and then I come into the bottom corner into the cavity control area. Depending on which guitar. Now my Minotaur guitar is super extremely hard to drill because you could screw up the body at any time. I think I may be the only one doing a Minotaur or Les Paul body style without having a top. It's a solid piece of wood, so now when you're drilling, you need to know how to hit all your angles properly. If not, you're gonna puka the top, and believe me, I have. So I'm gonna start with the smallest bit first and take care of the small hole first. And that is going to be my ground for my bridge. And I'm gonna hold it at an angle so it pops out in here. Okay, ground is done. Okay. The next one I like to do is the 3/8 bit. I like to go up in drill sizes to the biggest one. So I'm gonna come inside here in an angle, and it's gonna start here, and it's gonna kind of aim, and basically I'm giving myself like an imaginary line. Some people mark up the tops of the guitar, and they have a system on how to follow the drill, but at the end of the day, it's how you hold your tool, how you adjust your angle, and I'm an electrician, and I've drilled 1,000 homes with a massive auger bit, so I kind of comfortable with drilling these things and kind of knowing the angles and stuff. So I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna kind of line it up, and slowly gonna get it to where it needs to go. Okay. And this is exactly where I want it to be. See that? It's in the corner, and that's how it's done. And at this stage, you know, like all of your sawdust and stuff on the carpet, all of that, all of those little wood chips actually dent and show scrapes on the finish. So the guitars are super smooth, right? So when you rub it, and then it just scraped underneath, and then when you spray it, you see these lines that ended up happening because of those damn chips that was in the place. So now I'm gonna take my drill and I'm gonna come in this angle to get into my control cavity on the bottom corner. And you gotta watch that this does not hit that. So when you're holding it, that's what I'm watching is here. I know the bit's gonna go where I put it. So another thing you can do is you can put your finger down as a guide, like this on your nail, get it started. And I'm gonna wiggle it around. Only because I widen this a little bit more because if, say somebody wants to change out their pickups and they go to Fishman Fluences or the Kill Switch or the Devin Townsend sets, you're gonna have 8 wires per pickup coming through. And that leaves me a little bit wider entry point to get into the control cavity. And that came out there perfectly. And funny is that my ground comes out right in the same hole. I don't know if you guys can see that. Okay, so now we did the hole for that. Now we are on the input jack. Again, here it is. I know the angle that I need to come into, and it's tricky because it's round on the edge. And I slowly I have to make sure I'm holding this the right way. You could start cutting it wrong and ruin everything. So make sure you go in straight. And there it is. That there, and you guys are saying, "Oh, but it's all torn out." Yeah, I know. But what I do anyway, for all you buggers that said that, is that I have a cone bit. It's actually made from metal. Works excellent on wood. And what I like to do is I had a spare before. You know, I like to be able to find these things when I do my video. But I usually have an extra input jack, and I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna slowly widen it. Just a hair. Kind of cleans up that rough spot. Also takes away the sharp edge right here. So there we have it. The body is ready to be stained. I use Crimson Guitars Mineral Spirit Stains. It is not a water-based stain. Let me get the camera. It's not a water-based stain. Okay, so when you have raw woods that have been dried and you add water to it, what happens is the grain swells and it lifts the grain sometimes, especially different types of wood like mahogany. If you add water to mahogany, the grain's gonna swell up. And then you have your stain, and then now you gotta sand all that swelling up and reapply stain. With what I've noticed with the mineral spirits, it's a liquid, it covers well, and it evaporates. So it's kind of like alcohol, but it's not. But that's, that's the process at least. So I like to get a towel. I like a shop cloth. The regular ones for the house really shred. This is gonna shred too, by the way. Want to get your stain and turn upside down, shake it good. And we are going to apply the magic. Okay? So Sammy wanted it to look like my 8-string that Doug is playing. And I'm gonna show you. I did 3 coats of it to go on, and you're gonna see it. It made this go on really nice. You don't need to saturate so much onto the wood. Really try and spread out what you have. You know, as you see it come lighter, you're going to reapply, but let this first coat really soak in. This is a beautiful blue. If you guys seen any of my blue guitars, my 8 string is one of them. I did a blue guitar for Chris Stark, his Chiron, and I did another blue guitar for a Chiron body style for Alex, and that was also a Chiron, and it came out fabulous. So my paper is shredding. It doesn't matter. I like to focus on certain parts at a time. Let it soak. I am on the tri-cut area, which, by the way, is very comfortable to play if you are a lead guitar player. So I'm gonna let that sit, and we're gonna work on the sides. So we shall move on. Some people ask me, will I go into colors and paint and blah, 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 and I'm kind of good, you know, without going into that, you know. If there's a stain, I would rather stain instead of doing something like that. For one, when you spray a guitar with paint, a color, you have to realize that you're going to add about 3 to 7 base coats of some kind of a primer. Actually, probably 2 or 3 coats of primer. And then for color, you're gonna add about 6 to 7 coats. And in between these coats, you're going to be sanding it down. Over and over and over you go. Which is fine, that's the process. But at the end of the day, your guitar ends up with 13, 14 coats, I don't know, depending on what you're trying to achieve. But you end up with so much coats of paint on the guitar, it becomes like a plastic shell, so to say. So now when you have that much coats of paint on your guitar, you killed all the natural vibrations and resonation that happen in the wood when you barely paint it. So I will do my version of a paint job with a stain, and I will not sacrifice tone for it as well. So a lot of the guitars I should start doing is letting you guys hear it unplugged acoustically and let you guys hear what it sounds like, because it's big, it's loud. And if you play another guitar, or I have many guitars, and when I play them unplugged, they sound like stereo plastic guitar bodies. It sounds like I'm strumming a plastic body, and it's cool, but at the end of the day, the vibration is not suffocated by all these coats of paint that is unnecessary to focus on. So again, I'm going to apply 3 coats of this stuff, and you know what? It may swell up, it may not. And if it swells up before my last coat, I will do a 220 or a 320 grit sanding first before I end up finalizing the last one. Control cavity area. So here's where I should have Q-tips or something. This is gonna get really messy because this paper in here is really rough, the wood. So I should go get some Q-tips. I kind of focus on the top cavities only. I don't worry about the control cavity. I kind of want people to actually know what it was before it was done. And I don't really, I'm gonna soak it on the cavities because I'm not gonna do it again, you know? it's gonna be hidden, and it doesn't matter. So one thing you gotta control also is you cannot just, you have to watch. Like if I drop this thing on here, this paint onto the guitar, it's going to darken in that place more than others. And then now you have this guitar that you gotta really try and match with how much you put in. So try to be careful. And you can always sand the wood back down to the original color. But so kind of looks like that. Yeah, then you see where you missed. I didn't see that corner, so yeah, you just gotta take your time. When you are trying to accomplish like a glass finish, for me, I do the same process as a natural finish, but it takes way more time. And again, it's not the easiest finish to pull off, especially with black. I'm working on a black V for my guitarist in my band Cellar. And you can see every little thing. So sometimes, you know, I should have done a natural finish on it, but I like the challenge. You know, I mean, if somebody really wanted it, I would do it. But for this build, I decided that it's going to be a natural finish, and they look great, and their tone is sick. When I do the glass finishes though, I apply 4 heavy coats on the first one, and I sand it down with a 220 grit. And then I level sand it with the 220 grit. So I'm taking off like probably 2.5 coats of what I just added. And then I do it again. I do another 4 coats heavy, and I sand it down. Level sand it again, probably removing another 2.5 coats. And then I like to do 3 coats thin for the finish coats. And I level sand again with 220. And then I spray the last 3 coats. So when I tried to calculate, I think at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, there's roughly 7 thin coats on the guitar. I don't use wood sealers. I like the raw look of the guitar. I don't like doing that. So that's not me. And take some of this rubbish out. Okay, so now we go back and we do coat number 2. See what I mean? The benefits of this stain is that it's dry already. So coat 2 is gonna be nice and dark. And it's raining in Hawaii today. Also just posted a live neck burning video of all the scrap neck pieces that I don't use. And sorry the videos are long. I'm trying to really be descriptive. For any of you that would want to try and take this up as a hobby, it's fun. I mean, imagine building your own guitar with exactly all the things you wish people did on their guitars, and I get to do that. There's not a guitar I can't build, and the wood choices that I have is stellar. I love all the regular woods, don't get me wrong. I love mahogany as the tone wood. I love maple tops, they're gorgeous. But let's see. Don't forget the caballos before the ferrules. You'll see that whiteness in there. Oh, I made a drop. It's okay. And in these areas, they tend to pick up more of the stain because they're raw, they're unsanded. Doing another onesie overall. Okay, now I'm gonna hit the sides. I'm trying to constantly turn my paper too because it's getting all shredded. And yes, yeah, I'm recording. Man, there was one video I think I didn't record. Oh, that was terrible. The whole process. Just smash it in there. I'll catch that anyway. So the sides of the guitar are what they call open grain. So the grain is open, so it's very porous and it absorbs a lot. You got blue. It's gonna look almost purple. I'm colorblind. But blue would come out and say, oh my God, honey, it's purple. And I'd be freaking out because I wanted it blue. Those of you that want me to play music in the background, let me know. I can play you stuff off my albums. If you want to hear that, the ones. But I'm trying to constantly talk through the whole video. Here's the back and the sides. Now it's at the top. And what's cool about working with this Norfolk wood is that it naturally has blue streaking in it. So when this dries and evaporates, you're gonna see those blue streaks and they look beautiful. Try and rub it in the form of the grain, as much as possible when you can, but not necessary. Kind of pushing it in there, you know. You see some areas that are light, cover it. Okay, that was coat number 2. When I add the air, you're gonna kind of see it evaporate. I'm gonna use another piece of towel. So, this is how it goes. Okay, now we do it again. And what I do after this 3 coats, I'm gonna go and let this cure in my controlled environment room, which is set at 45% humidity. And 45 is a pretty standard humidity for guitars that get shipped throughout the world. It's kind of held in a lot of guitar building facilities, is that is the standard that they keep their woods. Try that in there. Saw it evaporate. But what I did was I made this little smear over here. I'm gonna rub that out. Okay. Now we hit our sides again. I don't know if you guys can see it getting darker. I can't. I'm colorblind. Ha woo. Don't be skimpy on the sidewalls over here. Oh, this open grain. Just get in there and get her done. Okay, that's that for that. A good, nice towel application. Again, if you can like and share, subscribe, comment on the video, that would be awesome. Let me know what you guys want to see more of. Try and tell me to build something crazy and outrageous. I may just try. I still want to build me a 9-string though, but it's ridiculous. I don't think, I mean, shit. I don't know. Let alone see people play a 6-string right, you know, so. Not too much 9-string guitar players though in the world, so it's like you could have a niche. Or you could just have an itch. And I think that is it. This is perfect. Put the cap on. Oh man, this thing again on your finger. Ooh, it does not come off for a couple of days. So I'm gonna grab it and dry it off for you. Watch. So like some of the overrun over here that happened was when I did the top. So I'm gonna try and correct that. Just wiping it up. No big deal. Double check. It doesn't hurt. I just catch the sides. This will become super blue though. You can kind of see the streaking in there of what the blue streaks in the wood is naturally doing. This is going to come out great. I don't know how the red pickups are gonna look in there though, because we got red inlays, we got white neck, got a Queensland neck. So that is the body prior to, this is the prep work that goes after the sanding into the body before the paint. And I'm gonna let this cure. Again, thank you all for watching. Please comment, ask me a question, do something. And let me know what you guys want to see happen or future builds. That'd be awesome. Other than that, you guys take care. This is almost New Year's coming up, a couple of more days. I'm gonna try and get at least a coat of paint on this before I end out the new year to kind of show you guys the process. Yeah, I have the neck there. I don't want the white neck touch the blue, or my gloves touch the white neck and then put on the blue, but I can't. Just don't want to get blue on the fretboard. Da-da, da-da. You guys can see that. It is nice. It's a nice contrast. Look at that. Look at that. I like it. I like it. Oh, got some blue. Got some blue on the side of the neck over there. Okay, I'm gonna sand that later. Ladies, guys, thanks for watching.